Letter 212 by Charles Lamb. Charles Lamb to William Wordsworth P.M. illegible, early Jan. 1815. Dear Wordsworth, I told you my review was a very imperfect one, but what you will see in the Quarterly is a spurious one, which Mr. Baviard Gifford has palmed upon it for mine. I never felt more vexed in my life than when I read it. I cannot give you an idea of what he has done to it out of spite at me, because he once suffered me to be called a lunatic in his thing. The language he has altered throughout. Whatever inadequateness it had to its subject, it was in point of composition the prettiest piece of prose I ever writ, and so my sister, to whom alone I read the Ms., said, that charm if it had any is all gone, more than a third of the substance is cut away, and that not all from one place but pass him, so as to make utter nonsense. Every warm expression is changed for a nasty cold one. I have not the cursed alteration by me. I shall never look at it again. But for a specimen I remember I had said the poet of the excursion walks through common forests as through some Dodona or enchanted wood, and every casual bird that flits upon the boughs like that miraculous one in Tasso, but in language more piercing than any articulate sounds, reveals to him far higher Lovelace. It is now, besides half a dozen alterations in the same half-dozen lines, but in language more intelligent reveals to him. That is one I remember, but that would have been little, putting his damned shoemaker phraseology, for he was a shoemaker instead of mine, which has been tinctured with better authors than his ignorance can comprehend, for I reckon myself a dab at prose, verse I leave to my betters. God help them if they are to be so reviewed by friend and foe as you have been this quarter. I have read It Won't Do, but worse than altering words, he has kept a few members only of the part I had done best, which was to explain all I could of your scheme of harmonies, as I had ventured to call it, between the external universe and what within us answers to it. To do this I had accumulated a good many short passages, rising in length to the end, weaving in the extracts as if they came in as a part of the text, naturally, not obtruding them as specimens. Of this part a little is left, but so as without conjuration no man could tell what I was driving it at. A proof of it you may see, though not judge of the whole of the injustice by these words. I had spoken something about natural Methodism, and after follows, and therefore the tale of Margaret S.H. have been postponed. I forget my words or his words. Now the reasons for postponing it are as deducible from what goes before as they are from the 104th Psalm. The passage whence I deduced it has vanished, but clapping a colon before a therefore is always reason enough for Mr. Baviard Gifford to allow to a reviewer that is not himself. I assure you my complaints are founded. I know how sore a word altered makes one, but indeed of this review the whole complexion is gone. I regret only that I did not keep a copy. I am sure you would have been pleased with it, because I have been feeding my fancy for some months with the notion of pleasing you. Its imperfection or inadequateness in size and method I knew, but for the writing part of it I was fully satisfied. I hoped it would make more than atonement. 10 or 12 distinct passages come to my mind, which are gone, and what is left is of course the worse for their having been there. The eyes are pulled out and the bleeding sockets are left. I read it at Arch's shop with my face burning with vexation secretly, with just such a feeling as if it had been a review written against myself, making false quotations from me. But I am ashamed to say so much about a short piece. How are you served, and the labours of years turned into contempt by scoundrels? But I could not but protest against your taking that thing as mine. Every pretty expression, I know there were many, every warm expression, there was nothing else, is vulgarized and frozen, but if they catch me in their camps again let them spitchcock me. They had a right to do it, as no name appears to it, and Mr. Shoemaker Gifford I suppose never waived a right he had since he comminked author. God confound him and all caitiffs. For the full understanding of this letter it is necessary to read Lamb's Review, see vol. I of this edition. William Gifford, 1756–1826, editor of the Quarterly, had been a shoemaker's apprentice. Lamb calls him Mr. Baviard Gifford on account of his satires, the Moviad and the Baviad, against the Delia Cruscan school of poetry, of which Robert Merry had been the principal member. Some of Lamb's grudge against Gifford, which was of old standing, see notes to Lamb's Review vol. I was repaid in his sonnet St. Crispin to Mr. Gifford, see vol. Roman 4, of this edition. Gifford's connection with Canning in the Anti-Jacobin could not have improved his position with Lamb. I have read It Won't Do, a reference to the review of the excursion in the Edinburgh for November by Jeffrey beginning, This Will Never Do.